flavor itself, which is like of nice because it just goes with the other things, so you can mix it with other spices. So they like that very much. So the food is plentiful. It's very meat based, but don't panic, okay? Don't worry about it. If you don't eat meat, or especially if you don't eat pork, you have to read the menu a little bit more in depth, because as I say, like even if we do something vegetarian, we occasionally throw some bacon bits in for flavor. So you got to be a little careful and look at the salads to make sure that there is nothing in it. But because where we go in Krakow and Warsaw and even Poznan, to be fair, are very, very touristy places in the best meaning of the word. So, you know, the waitress will speak English, the menus will be in English, so it's not going to be any problem at all to find out what you're eating. So, you know, everybody will be able to help you. All the menus will be in English, and all the waiters and staff, or at least one of them, will be able to speak. To be fair, half of them probably worked in England at some point. So they will all speak really good English, and they will understand. And because, as I said earlier, because it was such a success story with the EU and so many young people actually moving back to Poland, we actually have more juice bar and vegan places and vegetarian places and hip coffee places than we might have in other nations, because, you know, there's so many young urban people coming back to Poland and starting up these really cool businesses. And Poland's also become super successful as a tourist destination with Europeans, you know. So while before people would go to Prague for their hen night, or, you know, now they go to Krakow or Warsaw. So, you know, it's become very cosmopolitan, very international, so that works really really well for us. Poznan, there is a lot of where we go. I know the area is going to be dug up, and it's, you know, it takes a little imagination to figure out how beautiful it will be when they're finished, or how beautiful it was before they started. Just in between bit, not so much. And there is a big market square, and all along the market square are lots and lots of really good restaurants where you can get all kinds of things. They're also keen on pizza. They have like this pizza, there's Polish pizza, so you can have beetroot and this white cheese on your pizza and stuff. So don't feel bad. Somebody the other day said, oh, I've been in Germany for a week, I have had pizza. You can have pizza. We have great pizza in Europe, so, you know, you can guilt free. You don't have to eat pierogi. Even Polish people don't eat pierogi every single day, so you're welcome to have a pizza. They do love a good pizza in Poland. Isn't that so, my darling? Yeah? Chris? Yes, Chris loves the pizza. The other thing that you might look out for is they do really good kebabs in Germany as well, and in Poland. Sausages are great. They have really nice, the kabanosis, they're a little bit more spicy, which is fantastic. Also, they have as far as the souvenirs concerned, you will find everywhere what you would think are Easter eggs. They're not Easter eggs, they're decorative eggs that you give people for good luck when they move into a new house. So this is like an all year round kind of thing. And then if you're wondering why I do have, if you were wondering, you might not have wondered, but if you were wondering why I have a mushroom handbag today, is because the Poles love mushrooms. They love their mushrooms. They go around, like, you know, on the weekends, like, and you can see hordes of old men running around forests picking mushrooms. Chris is nodding away. Are you already at that age? Yep, he's already at that age. He's picking mushrooms on the weekends. With the children, are you taking the children? They're still coming? Oh, they're still coming? I'll give you another year, and then they will bulk. They're still coming. Yes, he's got two daughters. They're 13 and 14, or 14 and 15. 14 and 15, yes. My parents dragged us around the forest until about 14, 15s, when we created our own independent voice and decided not to. But Chris quite rightly pointed out his children still go mushroom picking with him, and from all I know, like all the Polish people that I know, this is a really nice father-child bonding thing that they do together. So every Polish person that I know said, oh, I did that with my dad, or I did that with my granddad, and now I do it with my children. So this is a really nice, you know, in some areas you go fishing with your sons or your daughters, and this is the Polish like parental bonding thingy, and they all love it. Did you go with your dad? Yeah, of course, he says. Of course I did, Maria. Oh, stupid question. What about poisonous mushroom? Well, they do actually know what's what. So, you know, they are really good. Because obviously, like, your grandfather took you, your dad took you, so by the time you take your children, hopefully, hopefully you're an expert. And also they have, like, they have specialists. So you can go and ask them. So if you have a mushroom that you don't know, you can check them. If you go to a Polish market, like, you know, like an open market, a weekly market, you have stalls with loads of different mushrooms, like, you know, thousands of different mushrooms and hundreds of different species and stuff. So there's always people around in your community, in your town, that you can go, look, I don't know about this one, you know, can you explain this one to me? So it's very unlikely that you know, so that's definitely. And they have dried mushrooms as well, so, you know, you can, if you want to make a sauce, but you don't have to have the fresh mushroom, because there are some mushrooms which you really just can eat on the day. There's a mushroom, I don't know what it's called in English, in German it's called Pfifferlinge. There's this beautiful mushroom with a light amber color, absolutely fantastic, everybody loves it, but you have to eat it super fresh. Even if the next day it's not nice. So they dry that. So on the markets you will find a lot of dried mushrooms that you can then like sort of rehydrate and add to your sauces and things like that. So you get a lot. That's the one and only condition, or was the one and only condition. You have to be Catholic in order to be the King of Poland. Catholic Church and the Catholic faith is still super important in Poland. They're like really, really, like, they're a very, very Catholic country. About 85% of the Polish people are practicing Catholic. So this is not like, you know, where some of the places where we come from, where, you know, like me and my parents go to church once a year on Christmas. They have, like, you know, full churches all year round. So Catholic faith is very important. This is also sometimes something they take very, very seriously. Every country that we go to, there are different things you don't make jokes about, and the Catholic faith and the church is definitely something you're not flippant about. In Poland, you don't make fun about that, because there is a good chance you will offend someone. So let's not go there. So, what do you get out of Poland? Well, Poland is a beautiful, beautiful country. It's got one of the most amazing old... oh, hang on, I just need to take this call. 1 second. What do you get out of Poland? Like, what are you looking for? Where you go, what you eat, what you buy. Now, what you buy is, if you want to buy something really, really particularly beautiful and very, very Polish, is of course amber. Amber is kind of like a resin that was that sort of hardened throughout the millions of years. It's been a resin, and it's found particularly along the shore of the Baltic Sea on the Polish coast. So Polish amber has been, you know, like, Poland has been famous for amber for many, many, many centuries. And it's quite funny, isn't it? Like, because some like diamonds, etc., they have to be really pure. Amber, it's not like it. If you find like there is a little insect or like a fly or something in it, actually makes it more valuable. If you do happen to be on the Baltic coast and find some amber, you really have to do quite a lot of work to make it nice and shiny and translucent, like you would find it in the in the shop. So it's not like, you know, you're walking around the beach and it becomes immediately obvious that it's amber you're looking at. So, you know, you got to have a bit of an eye for it, but you can definitely find it. You just need to know what it looks like before it's being worked on. There is a way of knowing if the amber is real or not, and it's got something to. It was a little heavier, and as I say, if there is actually bits in it, don't think I'm not going to buy it. They've got a fly in it. That's actually when it becomes incredibly expensive and precious. Princess Diana, for the premiere of Jurassic Park, wore an unbelievably beautiful amber necklace with Polish amber, and she made sure that there was as many amber pieces with actually bits in it, because the bits in it will be millions of years old. And these are also very interesting for our history, because they can extract all kinds of bizarre DNA from like prehistoric animals from these amber. So it's a very interesting and very beautiful. It's also got a real warmth to it. So especially like now we're like autumn winter, it's got a nice warmth. It's got beautiful golden amber color, brown color, and they make, so you will find that in most of the stalls, markets, they're like whole jewelry shops dedicated to amber, and it lasts forever. It doesn't lose its shine. It's, you know, so it's definitely a good investment. Another thing that you might want to buy is, of course, you know, you'll have a lot of embroider these nice, beautifully, like brightly embroidered blouses that are still made here. You gotta have to check a little bit, because they're not all necessarily made in Poland, if you get my drift. But if you like them, so you know, that's definitely like this bright embroidery things. The bright colors are very important here, and we will see that the further east we get, because you know the winters are long and dark, so you know, like you have to have the bright colors to cheer you up a little bit. Another thing that they need to cheer up a little bit is, of course, vodka. Vodka and schnapps, which is pretty much the same thing, isn't it? You will find that again, like the further east we get, or the Eastern Bloc, the more they drink to keep this. It's not because they're alcoholics, nothing to do with that. It's to do with the fact that when you live in a colder climate, you have to keep your blood thin to survive. That's what it is. Nothing to do with getting drunk. Because if you, like, you know, when you get cold, your body wants to protect your inner organs, so all of your blood goes towards protecting your liver, your heart, and everything. That's really important. And your body thinks, well, you can live without a fingertip, but you can't live without your heart. So we're gonna, you know, set priorities here. So that means all of the blood vessels that feed your fingertips and to your nose and you know, like your feet, they kind of constrict, and then they move all the blood to make sure that the vital organs are nice and warm. That's why you get cold feet. Now, in order to circumvent this particular thing, you drink alcohol, because that dilates your vessels. And then, so, you know, if you have cold feet, you go, I need a schnapps, because I have cold feet. You know, other nations might put some socks on. In Poland, you just go and have a vodka. So it's you know, that's why sometimes when people who have regularly cold feet have funny noses, because you know, it dilates their thing. So vodka is really important here. There's a lot of what you would call moonshine. Thankfully, you will not be, because it's very easy to make vodka. You know, you can do it in your shed, and people do. This is a really dangerous thing, because it can make you blind or kill you. So if you want to buy some vodka, then I would really recommend. This is a really dangerous thing, because it can make you blind or kill you. So if you want to buy some vodka, then I would really recommend you buy it in a shop with a label that tells you exactly how strong your vodka is. This is also a really good way of knowing how drunk a German is, if you ask them to say vodka, because in the German language, the W and the V is exactly the wrong way around. So When I first moved to England, I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. That much is true. No, I was working as a waitress, and every time I walked into the kitchen, the chef thought it was really funny and said, "Maria, say winter vegetables." That was his funniest joke. Winter vegetables, because if you would say it with a German accent, it would be winter vegetables. So we turn that around. Now, when you're sober as a German, you say vodka, but the more drunk you get, the less you can do it. So you can always tell how drunk a German is if you just make them say winter vegetables or vodka. And then you know, okay, they need to go home now. They're like drunk Germans, they need to leave. So vodka is really, 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 really important. And because in the beginning it was really just to keep your blood thin, now it's also become a little bit of a craft, like craft beer and craft gin. So vodka has gone up in the world. The most famous vodka here in Poland is a vodka called Zubrowka. I'm glad he's on the phone because I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. He can't listen to me. And this is called bison grass, and apparently it's an aphrodisiac. Well, I dare say all alcohol in the right amounts is an aphrodisiac. But this one is actually... Okay, this one has a little blade of grass in it, and urban myth has it that this is the very grass that the bison has peed on before they made vodka from it. That's not true. There is no bison urine in Zubrowska, okay? So don't panic. It's a perfectly very clean and sanitized. To be fair, like these are so high in percentage, it's very difficult for anything to survive in there. So vodka is used for everything, internally and externally. My grandmother, and not because she was married to a almost Polish person, because she's German and she was a German grandmother, she practically dealt with any medical emergencies with schnapps. She either threw it on you, rubbed it on you, or made you drink it, or if all else fails, drank it herself. And this is like, the thing, this is the first kind of port of call. Like, if there's something wrong with you, you fall over, pour some vodka over, it'll disinfect the wound. If you have a panic attack, have a drink. Anything can be done with vodka, so it's a really, really, really good thing. As far as food's concerned, you will find that in this area there's an awful lot of soups. There is a reason for that. Soups are great. Soups are great to use up some relatively cheap cuts of meat, or if no meat, this is really easy to make really good soups out of like quite common vegetables. Soups is also perfect for places where it's you have long, cold and uncomfortable winters, so soups really nice and nourishing. It's a great way of getting a lot of nutrients into you. And here they like the soup so much here, and also Budapest and other places, that in summer they have cold fruit soup, which is beautiful, really nice. But of course you want me to talk about the pierogi. Okay, I saw some already. I saw some pierogi already in the service station. I'm gonna okay, Christoph, can you do me a favor? Can you cover your ears? Can you just cover your ears? Don't listen. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of pierogi. I'm in so much trouble. I'm like, yeah, get out of my country. It's just like an undercooked ravioli. It isn't. It's an amazing, fantastic national dish. A little bit like an undercooked ravioli. It looks a little bit like a ravioli. It's just sort of more crescent shape, and it's filled with. So traditionally, it would be filled with pork and seasoning, but you know, like you can also have vegetarian options. You have all different options. So normally the vegetarian, the traditional vegetarian option is with some kind of like cream cheese, sometimes with a little bit of beetroot. And so, but now you can have all kinds of different ones. So the pierogies become very, very fashionable. There's all restaurants where they just have pierogi. And so you can have loads of, they have some really cool stuff. They have like, you know, like with nuts and beetroots and goat's cheese and, you know, really, really interesting fillings. So I like the pierogi when they don't just give it to you boiled, but they actually like fry it a little bit, then it's really nice. See, and even Chris agrees, it's nicer when it's fried, isn't it? It's just like boring when it's the same with tortellini. They don't taste right if it's just boiled. You just put them in the pan with a bit of butter, some bacon, and then fry them, and then they taste much better. A little bit of a crunch, you know. So this is the pierogi. Now the other thing that you will find here quite often is sauerkraut. You will find on the rest of the trip the food is pretty much familiar because, you know, like as this all of the area we're traveling now was part of the massive Habsburg Empire, so you will see the schnitzels and you will see the sausages and you will see the sauerkraut here as well. One thing that you will find a lot here and also in Czech Republic is open sandwiches. So, you know, like we are so used to have closed sandwiches, but here they have a lot of open sandwiches and they're really beautiful and they have lots of extra bits like raw peppers and cucumbers and mayonnaise as well. Beetroot,
We're heading east towards Warsaw.
Oh, okay. We'll be there tonight.